TKO 2025 is done and dusted. It's a great event, just like it is every year. I'm still in one piece, thankfully. The bike is mostly in one piece. There's a few pieces missing. We'll get into that. All right, welcome back. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties. So, right off the rip, Travis CRC Motorsports, his bikes were supposed to show up on Wednesday. Well, the shipping company, whom I'm not going to name, but let's just say, don't use 12 Point Logistics. Bikes went missing. It's a giant crate. How does that go missing? They ended up blocking his number. It was a big ordeal. Bikes didn't show up until late Thursday afternoon, so we already lost a day and a half of prep time. So Cirrus actually came to my house and we had a party in the driveway setting up the bikes. The last race they raced in was a desert race, and TKO is a little different. Hard enduro, you want to set the bikes up a lot softer than when you're, high-speed desert racing. But got all that taken care of. It was a late night Thursday night, worked well into the night. Everything was good. We show up to TKO Friday morning. That's when we qualify. Now, I wasn't supposed to qualify till 5 p.m. But I started having a vision problem. I'm supposed to actually wear glasses, and I don't, because I can see just fine most of the time. But apparently, my eyes weren't happy that day. So when I did end up qualifying around 3 in the afternoon, I had some real severe depth perception problems. It's not like anything was blurry, I just had no depth perception at all. So going fast, not very easy. So I didn't qualify as good as I should have. I qualified 14 out of 28, so right in the middle. Not the best, but not the worst either. So, it happens. Race day, Saturday, race 1. I start the race really well. I actually get the whole shot, get out front, and I lead for about 10 minutes. And those were kind of hectic 10 minutes because the tire choice that I picked ended up not being the right tire choice at all. I've got a Dunlop MX33 on the front, which is more of a motocross tire. It's not very soft. It's not good in slick rocks, and it rained Friday night at TKO. The first couple miles of the track, it is all rock in the woods. There's no sunlight that gets to it, so when those rocks are wet, it's like being on ice. I ended up having a fast crash in a downhill section, and the thing about electric bikes is you don't know if somebody's right behind you or not. So I got passed by 2 bikes as soon as I crashed, got back up, wasn't hurt, bike wasn't hurt, everything was fine. And then I had a very dumb moment. I followed the guy in front of me and he took a left. And guess where the course went? Yeah, the course went to the right. So followed him down this hill, I got in this place and I go, this seems familiar. I think I've already been here. So I realized it, thankfully, and didn't do a whole nother 2-mile loop that I didn't need to do. Turned back around and found my way back up the hill onto the course. But at that point, the damage was already done. Got passed by a bunch of people, wasted a bunch of time, and made the best of it. Was a little discouraged, but it happens. The front end on the bike worked okay. I'm not gonna say it worked well or great. It sprung a little bit too stiff. The YZ450F springs are just, motocross bike, and they were just a little too stiff. So it was beating me up in the rough stuff. I spent the last month building this bike, so I didn't do as much training as I should have. Had some arm pump, had some problems, so got pretty slow in the big rocks in that section. But made it through, kept going. Ooh, it's hot out here. Kept going, and then around mile 5, had an issue. So didn't know what happened at first, but I heard something come from the front end. There's a very strange noise. Not a noise you want to hear. I'll play it right now. That's the sound of, there's a pin that goes right there, holds the brake pads in place. That's the sound of that pin falling out and the brake pads falling out. No, I didn't forget to tighten anything or put anything in. but where this pin goes is kind of vulnerable and exposed, and there's a cotter pin that goes there, and I knocked the cotter pin out on a rock. Didn't know it at the time, but shortly after, front brake pads fell out, no front brakes at all. Now, the only silver lining in that is this rear brake mount that I just designed and built got the ultimate test, because that was the only brake for the next 10 miles. Tried to turn regen up, didn't really help. The rear brake on this isn't super strong when you move to a bigger wheel. 16-inch wheel, it's pretty good, but 18, it lacks a little bit, and I put it to the test. So there's a lot of downhill sections that are extremely steep, and I could lock the back tire up, but I still would just gain speed, gain momentum going down the hills. Had some really close calls, had some sketchy bits that luckily I didn't get hurt. I went off an embankment and knocked down a rock wall that was stacked up. A spectator said he didn't know how I didn't rip the front end off the bike when I hit that, and I said I don't either, but survived. Not necessarily fast, but had no eye problems. Made it to mile 14.3 out of 15 miles. Battery's dead. When the battery dies on these bikes, it puts it in park. You don't go anywhere. Looking back, should have done a battery swap. Probably should have had stickier tires and not spun as much. Should have not gone the wrong way. You know, shoulda, coulda, woulda, done a lot of things differently. But we made it, we survived. I ended up walking back to the pits, picking up a spare battery that Travis brought me. Put the battery in the bike and finished. That last 7/10 of a mile on a fresh battery. At the finish line, going over the logs, my left arm was cramped up so bad that I couldn't control my left hand. It looked like a Lego hand. It was just stuck like this. It's okay, I still finished. Unfortunately, didn't advance to the next round. That's okay, I just wanted to finish, especially with all the issues I had. It would have been cool, but I wasn't really expecting it. I was there more for seeing friends, making connections with companies and other teams, that kind of stuff, and all that went great. So all in all, great event. Had a really good time, had a lot of fun. Travis, CRC Motorsports, the team that I supported, their rider, Ozzy, is a madman. He won. He finished first in class in amateur. First race, TKO race 1 that I raced in, he got a flat tire like 3 minutes in, a flat front tire. Rode through it, finished 5th overall in e-bikes. Mind you, there's 7 pros in that class and 28 amateurs. He finished 5th overall with a flat front tire. Incredible. He ended up winning overall in amateur class. I think he came 3rd in just all results combined. So Eddie Carlson, you know, factory Starkvarg rider, Max Beaupre with Charge Cycle Works, and then Ozzy. So that's pretty cool to be a part of that. I'm glad I could help and assist them get the win, because that's a big deal. As far as everything I built on this bike, everything worked fine. Everything's a little scratched up, beat up a little more than it was. That's to be expected. You're jamming this thing through rocks. All the rear suspension stuff I built worked great. The only thing I would have changed would have been running some like JX8 gummier tires. These aren't bad. These are good for the high-speed stuff. Gummies tend to fold the knobs over when you're going fast, so cornering's a bit of a challenge. You give up a little time in the rocks for these tires to go fast. I would have rather had gummier tires in the rocks, because man, they were slick. You can see I'm sweating like a pig out here because it's hot in Tennessee. But man, I'm excited for next year. Not going to be on this bike next year. I'm going to pick a different platform. Obviously this, not the best platform for hard enduro. I was the only one there, not surprising. I did weigh this thing and it's too heavy. It's 235. That's too much. I think right around 200 pounds is probably the sweet spot for a race bike with 1821s and enough suspension travel. So we'll see what the future brings, but I'm happy I raced it. It was a good time. And that seat's hot.
No, 10 seconds! right. Go your left. Yes, have fun. Right. Yeah. You good, brother? Yeah. That hurt. Well, the rain helped out. Or slick.
Right. Suck if it was either of those.
Aren't we having fun?
Huh?
Aren't we having fun? Oh, you all right?
Yeah.
So fucking slick.
Oh yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
All right. Juice running out. Uh-oh. Oh, fuck. I lost my front brake pin. Shit. I got no front brakes. Uh-oh. This ain't gonna be good. My rear brake isn't the best. Probably gonna cook it and boil the fluid, only using it. I don't want to get started down something too steep and not be able to stop. full brake right now. Can't even stop. I got no front brake. Struggling. These downhill sections are steep, and I'm boiling the rear brake, and it just locks up.
Let's go, trucker!
Good job, buddy.
Just do better! Hey! Come on! Sometime this year would be nice!